Hey everyone, Darren here, and we're back playing Diablo 2 Resurrected. So this is just going to be a quick little tips and tricks video. A lot of veterans will know pretty much all of these, but some of them are new to Diablo 2 Resurrected, and others are things that you just may have never come across. So the first thing we're going to talk about is auto gold pickup. So this is a new feature in Diablo 2 Resurrected. When you get near gold, it will just automatically pick it up. This is sort of like the Picket bots back in Diablo 2, which is a third-party program that Blizzard didn't like, but now they've just incorporated it into the game because it's a really nice quality of life. So you have to turn this on. So if you go to options, there's an option for auto gold pickup. So it's not very complicated to turn it on. Just go to gameplay and then auto gold pickup. So I've got that on, and I was just going to show you really quick how that looks. So you just have to walk near the gold and it picks it up. So not a lot there. Alright, so we're going to move on to the next thing. So the next thing with gold is you can deposit your gold in your stash. And what this does is if you die, you drop all the gold that's on you. And while that's not a problem if you're in a single player game, it's definitely a problem when you're in a multiplayer game. When you die, there is a death penalty that costs you a little bit of gold, but that's not nearly as bad as all of your gold just falling on the ground and someone else picking it up. So that's just something to be weary of. Don't carry all of your gold on you. Definitely keep it in the stash. Alright, so here's something that me and my friend were really excited about. And that's something they added to Gheed. So on Gheed, you can go to Gamble, and you can buy items that come with random stats. So I got this random rare belt. But I could just keep buying and buying if I had the gold. But you may be looking for a specific type of item. Like you may be looking for a circlet. You want to roll circlets until you get that awesome rare circlet. So what you would have to do in Diablo 2, the old version, you'd have to walk out of town, and that would reset the town, and then you walk back in and talk to Gheed again.
May I help you?
But what you can do now is you can just click refresh, which is amazing. This beats walking out of town over and over again. It's also an interesting way to look at some of the new icons that they've done. You can just kind of spin through. But yeah, that's about all there is to that. I just wanted to show that Gheed now has a refresh button, and I'm sure the other gambling guys do too. So that's really cool that we don't have to run out of town over and over again. Alright, so we already covered being able to automatically pick up gold. But when it comes to other items, there's actually an option that's even more amazing in my opinion. So this item label display is actually the text for the items that are laying on the ground. In the old version of Diablo 2, you had to hold down Alt to be able to see the items on the ground. You could rebind that to Control, but it was still a painful experience sitting there holding that key down the entire time you were playing. So what you can do now is you can actually hit toggle, and this allows you to toggle seeing the items on the ground. So basically you hit the key one time, and then you can see whatever's on the ground for the rest of your play session, which is absolutely amazing. I hate having to hit that. But they did leave the option in for it to be timed or for you to have to hold it. So if you just really liked holding that key down, that's an option. But for me, it's going to be set to toggle. It's going to be on the entire time. That's just how I play. But yeah, I really appreciate that change. It's going to make life a lot easier. Okay, and another option that was actually in Diablo 2 already, and that's the ability to show your health and mana numbers above the orbs. So you just go to gameplay and then pop these two guys on, hit apply, and now you have your life and mana numbers right above the orbs. And I really like having it this way so that it's easy to see what my totals are. I just like having the numbers there, and it's just kind of a nice little thing. Alright, so on the topic of speed running and just trying to get anywhere quickly, it's really easy to run out of run energy in this game. If you're trying to get somewhere, you're trying to do something, you'll run out of run fairly quickly. Okay, so as your stamina bar down here drains all the way to 0, you'll start walking instead of running, and that is just terribly slow. And also, just something to note, you have to turn it off and then briefly stop for 1 second before it starts refilling. Once it starts refilling, you can continue to walk. But anyways, What you can do that's a little better than that is buy stamina potions. So if you take a stamina potion, you get your stamina bar all the way full, and yeah, you basically just want to buy a bunch of these. They're 25 gold each, and just pop those all the time while you're originally leveling until you get gear that makes it where it's really hard to run out of stamina. But when you first start out, you definitely want to stock up on these stamina potions because they make life a lot easier. So on the topic of talking to Akara, another thing are these tomes of Town Portal and tomes of Identity. So when you first start the game, you're just going to have a scroll of Town Portal and a scroll of Identity, and you can use these one time and then they disappear. So you want to get these books so that you can store 20 at a time. And some people keep them on the right side of their inventory and other people keep them on the left. That's totally up to you. But when you want to fill your book, because like say my Tome of Identity right here has 20 spots, you would like to fill up the Town Portal scroll. You can right click and buy a scroll of Town Portal, but that doesn't fill it all the way. That just bought one. So if you hold shift and you right click it, it's going to fill it up to 20. So that's just a quick way to fill up your tomes of Town Portal and Identity. Definitely hold shift to buy, and that'll make that a lot faster. Okay, so another thing is your belt. So your belt is actually super handy. It serves another function other than giving you stats. And that is down here, you can have 4 potions, but if you have a belt, you can have even more. This belt that I have right now only gives me 1 extra robe, but other belts will give you more than this. But something that's handy about this is you can buy potions, and they buy and they go straight into your belt. But if you hold shift and you buy potions, it'll fill your belt up with that potion. And something else you can do if you want to buy potions really quickly is you can pop your belt off and it'll throw them into your inventory, and then you can buy more potions holding shift. If you fill this all the way up with mana potions, for example, and then you pop the belt off, you're going to get 4 mana potions, and then you pop it off again, and you can just sit here and do this over and over again, and it's just a much faster way to buy potions. Okay, so say you have bought too many potions and you want to sell them. So normally you can drag and drop, and that's the kind of generic way of selling stuff. But you can also hold down the control key and just left click potions and sell them. So yeah, use control to sell things. That's kind of nice. Okay, so you can put gear on your mercenary, which is super helpful because now your mercenary does more damage. But something a lot of people do is they'll put a weapon like Insight on their mercenary, which Insight gives a level 17 meditation aura. So the auras that your mercenary has will help you. And meditation makes your mana regen really fast. So for casters, that's just absolutely amazing. Another thing that people put on their mercenary is Infinity, which is another rune word that lowers enemies' resistances. So this is absolutely critical for a lightning source to work. But yeah, you can definitely put gear on your mercenary, which is super handy. It helps your mercenary stay alive. Also, just want to recommend stealth as the armor for your mercenary when you first start out. It's just Tal and Eth, so it's super cheap and easy to get, and it's a super nice rune word. You can use this for yourself when you're first starting out, and you can also use this for your mercenary. So yeah, just hit O to open your mercenary screen, and you can hook your mercenary up with some pretty cool gear. Okay, so the last thing that I want to show you guys, which is probably the most amazing thing to me, is legacy mode. So if you go to options and controls, there is a key binding at the very bottom for legacy toggle. And if you click this, it immediately changes the game over to look like regular old Diablo 2. It just blew my mind that it does this seamlessly instead of having a load screen or something. You can literally just hit it and suddenly you have the older version of the game, and then you can hit it again and you're back in high definition. So this is a super cool little feature that it's kind of actually useful in certain places where it's kind of hard to see and you can flip it to the other side. But really the new version just looks amazing. So, I mean, 99% of the time you're going to be playing in the newer HD version of the game, but it is super cool that you can just tap a button and then you're in the older version of the game. Something else I found interesting is if you go to the options menu for the old version of the game, you get some really interesting options that I'm pretty sure are in the other menu, but it is kind of cool that you can access them in a different way. So it may actually be faster to get to certain options by switching it to legacy mode first, but that's just kind of silly. Anyways, that's all the tips and tricks I can think of at the moment. There are definitely other features that have made life a lot better in Diablo II Resurrected, but I really welcome most of the changes they made, and some things are a little wonky. The quest screen has been a little weird. For example, I can't complete the search for Cain in this game that I made, even though I haven't done that quest. There's still a few little bugs to work out. And to be honest, it's kind of hard to tell which quest you have selected on this screen. In Legacy mode, it's a lot easier to tell which quest you have selected. Some things like that would be nice to be changed, but honestly, the gameplay is just solid, and that's what's super important to me. They can figure out these menus later. It's mainly just making sure that the actual gameplay feels super good. I think the most annoying thing with these menus is you can't tab from the game name to the password. I think that's just silly. But anyways, alright, that's it for this tips and tricks video. I appreciate you guys sticking around. If you wouldn't mind subscribing, it would help the channel out. But yeah, that's it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.